Hi Gemini, this is Teresa. Welcome to July. I'm getting ready to do your July TarotScope, and before I do that, I want to ring in the bells and bring in some good energy around this reading. And I want to say thank you also for watching the videos and subscribing and liking and commenting. I really appreciate your support. And let's see what's going on here. The Magician. Okay, so what does Gemini need to know about love for the month of July? Now this month we're going to have, which I'll get to, we're having a full moon on July 9th in Capricorn. And that's going to be pretty intense because it's connected to Pluto. The moon is conjunct Pluto and the sun is conjunct Mars. And they're both opposing each other. Mars opposing Pluto. And even the days leading up to the full moon will have Mercury and the sun opposing Pluto. So it's going to be intense. Power struggles. The thing is, and it's all being squared by Jupiter. So the theme is not to overreact, not to be, to stay calm, not to do anything reckless, and to try to compromise. That's the way out of this conflict. And to watch how you say things, because the energy is volatile. You could say something, not meaning anything by it, and just sit up and just offend someone with a casual comment. Then there's a new moon in Leo. And that's going to be, Mars will be conjunct the new moon. So it's a good time for new beginnings, and you'll have the energy to do it. And with Leo, it's about self-expression. So whatever happens at the full moon, it's a culmination or a closing. Some things may come up that force you to reevaluate your life and where you want to take action with the new moon. And it's squaring Uranus, so you don't want to be reckless. Because it may make you feel a little bit restless. So it's good to start things, but do it carefully and with planning. Don't just jump off a cliff with this energy. So let's see what's coming up for Gemini for the month of July. And then we'll talk about in August, we have the big total solar eclipse come in Leo. So this is like a preview. This new moon in Leo is at the 0 point degree. So that's really like starting a new cycle. So whatever you finished or ended with the full moon, you're ready for something new with this new moon in Leo. So the end of July, I think that's going to be on July, let's see what my notes are, 23rd. Okay, so what does Gemini need to know about love and anything else important for the month of July? Okay. The King of Wands, the Tower, the Hierophant, the Star, the Page of Swords, the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Wands, the Three of Cups, the Temperance card, the Strength card. You have a lot of major arcana in this reading. Actually, they're all major except for the Three of Cups and some of the court cards. So this is going to be a powerful month for you, Gemini. A lot of change. So the King of Wands could represent someone, if it's someone in your life, it could be someone who is going through some kind of... the King of Wands represents someone who's in a position of leadership, or someone who wants to be a leader. And someone who's really good at giving advice. Someone who's very outspoken. If this represents a person that you know, it could be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, that you're dealing with. And it could also represent qualities within you. So if it doesn't represent a person that you know, it could be that you have been working on taking a leadership role in your life. But you want to be careful not to be too bossy or too bullying. Because this energy, because of the Tower crossing it, it brings out the worst side of this King of Wands, which would be someone who's very bossy and bullying and wanting to tell people how to do things and not listening to another person's point of view, thinking you know it all, having a big ego. These are the things you want to avoid in July. Because with the Tower can be a blow to your ego. The Tower can be, it can represent several things. If you've been too egotistical or too bossy, the Tower can knock you off your pedestal with that energy. Where something is just, you're going to be waking up to a reality. You're waking up to the truth. And that can sometimes happen by getting a shock to your ego. You know, so where you suddenly realize, I've been too much. I've been too controlling. I've been too bossy. I've been too domineering. Because we're, you know, this month with July, there's going to be a lot of power struggles with all this Pluto and Mars energy and the Sun, Mars, Mercury. They're all going through Cancer, and they're all going to be opposing Pluto. And at the full moon with the new moon, it's going to be an emotional time. So you may discover something that really shakes you, where you wake up. Now, that could be a good thing, where you wake up, okay, I realize I've been a bit much. I need to change the way I approach things. On the other hand, if you're someone who's been living under oppression, let's say there are people around you who have been bullying and bossy and making you feel powerless, the Tower can be a release. So it could go either way. You could be released from oppression, or if you are the oppressor, you get a wake-up call. Because the Tower means something needs to be reconfigured. Something needs to be destroyed so you could rebuild in a better direction. So whether that means a relationship where you suddenly say, I just can't take this relationship anymore. I can't take dealing with this issue, this person. I need to change. I need to make major changes. So it could be either career or relationship, where something is just reached a critical mass. Then something comes to a head, and you decide, I have to start over, or I have to redo things. I have to reconfigure or redo things in a major way, so that I can, you know, it's like changing a course, or reconfiguring your path with this person or this situation. The Hierophant in the past, if you're dealing with a person, it could be that you're dealing with someone who's very stubborn and not open to change. And you might be trying to get through to someone like, you know, we got to do this, this, and this, and this person is just won't budge. Or you could be dealing with an institution in a career situation. You could be dealing with a job situation. It could be involving teaching or learning, or an institution. It could be a government. It's a place that has very strict policies, and they're not open to change. And you have to follow this. You feel like you're in a straitjacket, and you can't do the things that you want to do without major change. Now, you do have the Star in the reading. So the Star brings hope. So you have this dream that you're wanting to achieve. But something may happen that kind of is kind of like a wake-up call. And it may point you in a new direction. So certain information may come out that gives you a sense of awareness. And you may suddenly realize what direction you need to go in after that. You may also be dealing with someone that has issues of anger, because you have the Strength card here. The Strength card is about taming the beast within. It's about learning not to go to extremes of emotion. The other thing coming up, you have this Page of Swords and the Queen of Cups in the near future. The Page of Swords could represent gossip or spying, or that you have to have a difficult conversation with someone who could be the Queen of Cups, and that could be someone who's a water sign. So it could be Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. This person's very artistic, very sensitive, very intuitive. And so you want to be careful how you talk to the person, because you don't want to upset them. But you want to be careful that you're not spreading gossip. That if you hear something with the Page of Swords, make sure it's true before you go on the warpath. Because I feel that you might be hearing things, or you might be perceiving things. You just need to check things out. This is a card of checking things out carefully. The worst case scenario could be gossip. Someone's talking behind your back. Spreading gossip. The best case scenario is you just need to look carefully. Like if you're asked to sign a contract or a document, you need to check carefully. So in a relationship situation, you really need to look deeper. You need to look beneath the surface before you react. You may need to look deeper at what's going on. Here you have the Queen of Wands, and I feel like there are two people that are just not seeing eye to eye. This person's looking this way, this person's looking that way. So you could have a falling out with someone in the month of July, where you're just not seeing things from the same perspective. You're seeing things from a different, in a different way. So that's again why the Page of Swords means communication is important. Some news may come out at the full moon. Usually full moons, things get revealed. And that may surprise you. The full moon, the news coming from the full moon may surprise you. And on the other hand now, in your environment, you have the Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups is a card of celebration. And it's a card of, it could be birth, it could be a party or an engagement, or just feeling supported. So you feel like in your environment, you're feeling supported. The people around you are cheering you on. This is your cheerleading group. It's also a card of, creativity, birth. You might be starting something new in July, at the end of July. But you may have to have a difficult conversation with someone. I'm still getting a feeling that you have to have a difficult conversation with someone where you need to talk things out. So if there's a misunderstanding that happens in July, instead of gossiping about it, or instead of reacting to maybe some gossip that you might hear, have a heart-to-heart talk with someone and get at the bottom of it. The Temperance card is a card also of balance. So I feel that if you're in a relationship, there's compatibility in this relationship. Basic compatibility. It's just that you may have gone through, the Temperance card warns about going to extremes, especially with the Strength card here. Extremes of behavior, extremes of emotion. So it's talking about don't overreact. So whatever comes up in July, whatever news you hear, whatever gossip you hear, whatever truths surface, don't overreact. You can work things out if you remain calm. And if you carefully communicate your feelings, your needs, your desires, I feel like you could salvage the situation. So don't just react in either fear or negativity. That's really important. So, and with the Strength card especially, it's more about self-control. It's about self-control. And with the Temperance card, it's in your wish fulfillment sector. So it talks about if you want to fulfill a dream, whether it's a relationship goal or or even a career goal, although I feel in this situation it's more relationship oriented. But it may be connected to a dream that you have. So you might be in a relationship that you feel is going to enhance your ability to achieve a dream. And you want to do the right thing with the Hierophant. You want to do what's expected of you. But at the same time, you want to be fair. And you don't want to overreact. There could be some kind of love triangle even for some of you. So you just want to be careful. I would say if you hear any kind of gossip or news, I would check it with the source. Go to the person. Don't react based on hearsay. Go to the person and talk it out, and don't overreact. Because the Temperance card is about following the middle ground. It's also about seeing both sides of an issue. And it's about, and also when with strength, self-control. Learning how to be kinder. So you might be wanting to get things done, and maybe you're being a little bit too anxious or too bullying. Like, you have to tone it down. Because especially with this king, sometimes the king, when it comes in the, well, when the court card comes at the very beginning of a reading, it represents the person that the reading is about, more than other people, usually. So I feel that you've been acting like the King of Wands in July, or you're going to be. And you have to be careful not to come on too strong. Not to be too pushy, not to be too bossy, not to be too bullying. Because you really have this dream and you have this agenda and you want to make it happen. And in some cases, the people around you you're dealing with, they're not open to change as much as you are. Geminis are, the air signs are more open to, especially Gemini, because that's a mutable sign. You're more open to, you're more flexible. You can see the future better. You have intelligence. The air signs, they're thinking. So you might be dealing with people that are fear-based, like the Queen of Cups. They deal with their emotions. They're not really, they don't go with logic. They go with more of their emotions. And the Wands people, these could be a fire sign. It could be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The Wands person, they're more about action. Like, what are we going to do? Let's not talk about it. Let's do it. The Queen, the water people are, well, it has to feel right to me. And with the air people, it has to be logical. I'm not going to take action unless it makes sense. I have to have the facts. I have to have figures. I have to have reports and statistics to tell me that this makes sense. I don't go by my heart. I don't go by my, any other guidance. I go by what makes sense. So, but with the king here, I feel that you're acting like a fire sign. You're acting like a leader. So you're taking leadership, and you just don't want to abuse your power in the month of July. Don't abuse that position. If you're in a position of leadership, either in a relationship with a loved one or in a career situation, you don't want to abuse your power in July. This is another thing I'm getting. Because if you do, you're going to create the tower. You're going to have people revolting, rebelling. It's going to wind up destroying what you're trying to achieve. Instead of reaching the goal, your behavior is going to cause people to oppose you. They're going to fight back. And they may not talk to you directly. They may just gossip about it. Like, oh, can you believe her or him? The way they're acting, And so you don't want to you don't want to go there. So just be self-aware. It's about self-awareness. And try to use more kindness and more compassion with others. Even if they infuriate you. Even if you feel like, oh, I have to deal with idiots, You have to just try to be more diplomatic. That's the key. And then everything will be successful. Then you'll be celebrating your success. But if you want to act like the big boss and the big bully, be prepared for the tower experience where you have a blow to your ego, where people might just say, you know what? I'm not doing it. Who do you think you are? So that's the energy I'm feeling for July. In relationships, learn how to use kindness to get what you want. Learn how to calm your emotions. Don't go to extremes. Learn how to see things from the other person's perspective. You have a lot of support. A lot of people want to see you succeed. The Three of Cups is usually a supportive group. You have the support of the people around you. Just don't let it go to your head. Don't become egotistical like the King of Wands. The King of Wands can be a little egotistical. And if you get caught up in that, you may just get knocked off your pedestal. So that's just potential. It doesn't mean... So if you're aware of your behavior and you're aware of how you deal with people and you tone yourself down a little bit and you learn how to communicate, because another thing with the Page of Swords, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So it's about careful communication. So if you're wanting to get someone to do something for you in a relationship, let's say you have a problem with someone in a relationship, you want to be gentle when you talk about issues, especially now with all this stuff going on in July with Mercury, Mars, and the Sun opposing Pluto at the full moon. I mean, Mercury will be opposing Pluto before the full moon, but then at the full moon you'll have Mars and the Sun. And that's an ego battle. That's, you know, and Pluto does not mess around. Pluto, we're talking power. I mean, things can get out of hand because the moon's connected to it, and it gets very emotional. So people will get very emotional. So if you try to complain to someone and you're kind of bossy and bullying, you're going to get a strong reaction back. And it could lead to a violent confrontation. You know, volatile. You know, I'm not necessarily saying violent. But, you know, when Mars and Pluto oppose each other, you have to be careful. Because the energies are very strong. So that's just, you know, just be calm. And you can get your way, you can get your goal achieved. You have to take advice from, or take the approach of Jupiter and Libra, which is, Libra is about relationships, about balancing relationships, about being fair to everyone, considering other people's feelings, considering other people's positions. You know, not like I'm right, everybody else is wrong. Nobody's 100% right. There's always like another side. So you have to consider the other side and try to see things from their perspective. And that will help you create peace. Because remember, Jupiter is enhancing the energy. It's ramping up. You know, Jupiter in Libra is adding air to the fire of Mars and Pluto. Mars and Pluto is like think of it like a bonfire or, you know, a potential for explosion. And Jupiter is increasing that potential if you don't heed the warning of diplomacy. So that's my message for the month of July. And we all need it. We all have to be careful. All the signs need to be careful with this combination. It's just where it falls in your chart. So let's see, with Gemini, it would be, oh, you might be fighting over money. Because Cancer will be ruling your 2nd house, and Capricorn will be ruling your 8th house. So you might be feeling that, you might be having an argument over support that you're getting from others. Like, you may feel like you're not getting enough support, or it could be a financial issue. There's some issue with finances and money. Money you owe others, money others owe you. And with Jupiter in Libra, that could be, let's see, Cancer. If you have Gemini rising, that would be in your 5th house. So that could be fighting over, it could involve a creative project, or it could involve a child. So you could be in a relationship arguing over children, or arguing over a creative project. There's some, and your self-esteem is tied up to this. Your ego is tied up with this project. Your value. What am I worth? You know, am I being paid what I'm worth? Am I making enough money with this goal I have? Is it, you know, are people supporting me? So those are the issues. And then just be careful not to overreact. And tone down your, you might be, you know, tone down your communication style. And you should be okay. So I hope this reading was a help to you, Gemini. Good luck for the month of July. Happy 4th of July if you're in America. And I will talk to you again in August. Okay, thank you.